CI has built you a product catalog that instantly syncs across all channels and devices. Your sales are going.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, we are streaming not only on our Zoom, but we are also on our YouTube doing live. Hi to everyone that's here. I can see a few of you guys. If you can hear me, just go ahead and put a thumbs up if you can hear me. And then I also want to make sure that I can hear you. So I did put the settings to when you come into the meeting that it'll be muted. However, if you could just unmute and just, say hey, just so that I know that I can hear you as well.
Hi.
Meet you. So I am Dage. Thank you so much for attending this class. This is going to be such a cute, super fun, and super easy class because we're not going to be using a lot of products. You might even have some products that I have in your old makeup or just in your makeup kit in general. We're going to be learning how to do a quick 30 to 35-minute beat today using no foundation. So before
Nice.
we jump into our class, I do just want to give you a little bit of background on myself because, of course, you purchased my class, so I want to get to know you. I am Dage. Everyone knows me as Dage. My first name is Nadeja, but hey, don't call me my government if you're not mad at me. But I am a celebrity makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for about 12 years now. And I love all things makeup. I am based in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're ever here and you ever need an appointment, make sure that you look for me. I'm also a vet video vixen. You've probably seen me in a couple of your favorite music videos, as well as a educator and a trainer. So I am super, super excited to be doing this class. And I do these every month. So please be looking out for different classes throughout the month. So I'm not going to talk your head off because I am a Leo, so I know I can do a lot of talking. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to jump straight into our class. So there are a couple of things that you should already have right now for your class, which would be your favorite foundation if you have it, even though we are not going to be using foundation today for this routine. You are able to include it in the routine if you want to. It's definitely up to you. So you need some foundation, some primer. Make sure you have that contour. Then you want to make sure you have that under eye highlight, which of course is your translucent powder or your skin color powder. You want to make sure that you have eyeliner, lip liner, eyeshadow, and you should be good. Everything else, if you need any help or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to take yourself off mute, to ask me anything you want. This is completely up. This is completely informative. So literally, if you can pull it out of your brain, I will answer it for you. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. I started off with a clean face. I actually did have makeup on earlier, but I went ahead and I took it off. So for tonight's occasion, as y'all know, if you haven't, you know now, it is my birthday season, Leo season, big Leos. No disrespect to the other signs, but we gave it to y'all. We gave it to y'all for 8 months. Now it's all time. My birthday is actually falling on August the 10th, and tonight I am going to be going to a concert. I'm going to be going to see Sabrina Claudio, Russ, Big Sean. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This is my first concert in a minute. Let's do something cute. All right. So I decided to let's do it with my girl. So it's Saturday. I know y'all gonna probably go outside too. So if I can teach y'all a little something before you head outside, I would love that. So first things first, we are going to start off with the biggest step to makeup. Now, me being a makeup artist, I always tell my students the most important part of makeup is skin. If your skin is not primed, if your skin is not moisturized, even if you have oily skin, your skin still needs to be primed and moisturized so that makeup can stay on all day, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start off with our favorite primers. Some of my favorite primers are ELF, Milk Cosmetics, especially the NYX new primer that they have, which is in that little blue bottle. But unfortunately, today I'm actually not going to be using any of those. So, one very, very special tip that saves coins that I love to tell my clients and my students are to always go to Marshalls. Always go to Marshalls because, baby, if you don't know about Marshalls by now, you're missing out. All right. Marshalls has everything from makeup to skincare. Like, they have everything. And even though this video is not sponsored by Marshalls, you already know what's up, boo. So we're gonna start off with this glass skin primer. You can actually find this online. This, when I mean this smells so good, this smells so good, and it goes on to the skin so smooth. And this is a facial moisturizer, but also acts as a primer. If you're able to find a primer that also acts as a facial moisturizer, then you've already completed the first step. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to use some of our primer, whatever primer that you have. If I'm working on a client, I would usually apply this with a foundation brush, but because this is just for me, I'm only going to be applying it on my hands and then applying it around my face. So some of the very important areas for you are going to be your under eyes, your cupid's bow area, your forehead area, and the inner corners of your nose. These are where you get dry the most. It's where you get dry the most, where you can find creasing the most, especially underneath the eye. So we want to make sure that our face is completely moisturized. Now, mind you, we all know that makeup is always going to look like makeup, regardless of what kind of skin you have. But it definitely helps to have a clean, primed, and moisturized face so it makes that makeup stay all day long. And you guys are actually in for a treat because I'm going to be showing y'all some of my tips and tricks that allow my makeup to stay forever. Now, if you've ever, I do have some of my clients on my live. And if you are my client, you already know, baby, this makeup will last you a week. All right, literally. I'm the no lie, no lie. Some of my clients have literally come to me and gotten their makeup done right before a flight. I got one client, matter of fact, I got a couple of clients that have worn their makeup for like 3 days straight. Let's not do that today. But I will say that this will last for you if you do want to do it. So, like I said, we are not using any foundation today. Now, granted, if you have textured skin or you might be going through a little bit of acne, then I do recommend you use foundation for this particular routine. Only because you want your makeup to look flawless. Now, I don't have honorable mention for the skin. Honorable mention, okay? I don't have not one blemish on my face, baby. Shout out to Noxema. So this routine works for me, and it also works for my girls that don't have that many blemishes, or maybe just a few, or you're not really a heavy foundation girly. I'm not really a heavy foundation girly, so I only use concealer for my routine. When I tell them, they like, "What? You only use concealer?" Yes, girl, get into it. So there are going to be two types of concealers that you need for this particular routine. Now, mind y'all, this is a girls' night, so your girl don't have everything all laid out. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna do our makeup with each other like how we would do it if I was at your house, girl. So I'm about to go ahead and look for these colors. So today I'm going to be using LA Girl Pro Concealer in our color medium beige. Now, y'all know LA Pro Concealer is a oldie but a goodie. I just started back using it, and I can honestly see why we started off using it in the first place. And then another color that I'm going to be using today is the Kiss New York's Deep Honey Concealer. Now, this is my darkest shade, and then this is my highlighting shade. So you always want to make sure that when you are doing this routine, even if you're doing your regular makeup routine, you have two different types of shades. So the darker shade is going to cover up your bags. And then the lighter shade is going to help you bring brightness back to your face. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. So what I'm going to do, and these are my own personal products. If you do see me using these, I don't use these on any clients or anything. So I'm just going to use them straight out the bottle. What you're going to do is where you have those dark circles, you're going to do 4 dots. You can make them big, make them medium, but don't make them small. So we're going to do 4 dots underneath our eyes on each side. We got those 4 dots underneath each side. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going at an okay pace for you guys because I don't want to go too fast and I don't want to go too slow. So now that we have that underneath the eye, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our damp beauty blender. This is very important, ladies. You do need a damp beauty blender. And no, you cannot spray your setting spray to get it damp. It ain't going to get damp if you get sprayed with the setting spray. Go ahead and go to that water fountain. Go to that faucet. Go ahead and get that wet. Go get it wet. Get you a towel, paper towel or something like that because we actually want it nice and bouncy. If you can see, it's very bouncy. Let me get another one so I can show you the difference between what it would look like. Okay, well, I guess I don't, but if it's dry, it won't be this bouncy. So we definitely want something that's moisturized, not too wet, but still damp. So after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go underneath our eyes. Now, the trick to erasing your dark circles is that you want to get as close to your under eye as possible without poking yourself in the eye. So I'm going to get a little close for this so you can kind of see what I mean. But I'm going underneath my eye and I'm literally right underneath my lash line. I'm right underneath my lash line and I am just patting that in. And what you want to make sure that you do is a good trick that I learned. You want to pat in the middle. When you're in the middle, you want to pat in the middle. But once you're getting to that outer corner, you want to go ahead and roll your beauty blender up. When you roll your beauty blender up, it makes those harsh lines disappear. And so it's easier for you to kind of have that smooth look. Now, mind you, this is our dark shade. So if you can see, it covered up our bags. And this concealer is actually a buildable concealer. Excuse me, I'm tongue twisted today. It's a buildable concealer. So you always want to make sure that you don't apply too much product, which is why I only literally applied 4 large dots because you can build up your coverage if need be. So now we're going to go on the other side and we're going to do the same thing. Remember I said get as close to your lash line as possible without poking yourself. And then another little tip and trick that I learned in my makeup journey. You want to make sure that you're bouncing from eye to eye. So what I mean by that is, you see how I came over here and I started blending in, and then I came over here and I started blending in, and then I bounced back to this side? That's because you want to make sure that your makeup is even on either side. So you want to go ahead and you want to make sure that you are bouncing from either side, side to side, so that both sides have an even layer of product. And then this is what you should have. Very seamless, very smooth, very blended in. Okay, so now that we are done with our dark concealer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into our second concealer, which will be our lighter shade concealer. Now, you always want to make sure that you're going 1 to 2 shades lighter from what your skin tone is, but you don't want to go too bright unless you're just like a bright girly. And medium beige is enough for me. And I will put all the product links. I'll put all the product links in that email. Of course, the class will be recorded in case you want to go get some of these goodies. But like I said, this is that LA Girl Pro Concealer. And again, I put those 4 dots right underneath my eyes on both sides, just as so. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 3 dots underneath my nose. Like, I guess you'll call that the cupid's bow area. So once you have that concealer underneath your eyes, you're going to do the exact same thing as we did with the darkened concealer. Go ahead and start blending in. Make sure you get as close to your lash line as possible, as close to your under eye as possible without poking yourself in the eye. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to bounce it from side to side to make sure that product is evenly placed. So y'all know this is girls' night, right? And I got some story times to tell y'all while we sitting over here and we doing this. All right. So let me tell y'all about the time I got catfished, okay? So this was back in the day. Y'all know this is back in the day when Facebook was popping. I'm talking about Facebook was poppity popping, baby, all right? And everybody and their mama was on Facebook. And babe, your girl got catfished. Y'all want to know who I got catfished by? I'm gonna tell y'all, I got catfished by somebody pretending to be Diggy Simmons. I don't know, like I don't know why I just thought Diggy was on Facebook looking for your girl, but y'all, like, as many times as I've been catfished on Facebook, baby, I got to see what you look like now. If I don't meet you in person, I can't. Cause look, we not finna have one of those smoky situations. Y'all know Smokey and Friday when that girl put up on him with them damn braids. We don't do. I don't like stuff like that. All right. All right, y'all. So now you should have your under eye and your cupid's bow area blended. When you're blending out your cupid's bow, you want to make sure that you're getting on that inner corner of your nose because this is what creases as well. So you want to make sure that you're getting on that inner corner of your nose, covering it up. And then pay attention to what I'm doing at this part. Even though we placed that concealer underneath our eye, I did bring it down some just so that I can highlight this area as well without having that much product in place. And so as I just said, y'all already know I am a bright under eye girly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a second coating of that bright under eye underneath my eye because y'all, I love for my makeup to be bright. And then oxidization definitely does what it's supposed to do once I get outside. If you don't know what oxidization is, of course, as a makeup artist, y'all know I gotta educate y'all. So oxidization is basically, in layman's terms, the process of when your makeup changes once you step outside. The makeup that the air in your house is not the same, or the air in any building is not the same as the air outside, which is why your makeup artist recommends for you to match your foundation shade 1 to 2 shades lighter, your concealer as well, because once you step outside, that shade will oxidize to your original skin tone. So this is an example of why sometimes if you feel like, girl, I just found a perfect foundation shade, and then when you go outside, it turns orange. That's probably because that perfect foundation shade is actually a little bit too perfect for you. You want to make sure you go at least 1 to 2 shades lighter. So like I said again, the air can oxidize your face back to your original skin tone. So now we are done. We have a flawless blend, baby. Flawless under eye blend. And don't, if you feel like your eye is not blended or if you feel like your makeup is not blended all the way, two things. Either your beauty blender is not all the way damp as it should be, meaning that it's either too wet or too dry. Or number two, you just ain't blended enough, baby. You gotta blend till the spirit tells you to stop, baby. You gotta blend, baby. You gotta blend, all right? All right. So we have that. Now, the biggest thing and one of the biggest tips and tricks that I teach while doing makeup is this next step, and it's gonna blow y'all minds if y'all ain't did it yet. And if you ain't did it yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but hey, to each his own. All right. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and underneath my eye. Now this is a really good trick. So I gotta play some music for this. We don't need no ads for this. So underneath my eye, before I apply my translucent powder or my setting powder, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply some pressed powder underneath my eye. Now, learning this trick has definitely upped my makeup game completely and tremendously. Starting off with pressed powder allows for you to set your under eye, and then applying setting powder after that allows for you to brighten your under eye. So my shade is going to be 320, which is Maybelline Fit Me. Pretty sure you can see that it's 320 and Maybelline Fit Me. That's that natural tan. And it's not too bright and not too dark. And I'm just gonna go right underneath my eye with that. Now, if you don't have Maybelline Fit Me, but you have any other pressed powder that you think will work for your skin, go ahead and use that. Now, if you're not sure if the pressed powder that you have works for you, do not be afraid to ask me because I will tell you. For my personal recommendations, I'm going to go down the list of what I feel like pressed powder should be for each skin tone girly. So if we're going to go for a very light, a very fair skin tone girly, I would say 130 in buff beige will definitely be your pressed powder. If we're going for a girly whose skin tone is like mine, our shades would be warm sun, golden caramel, and of course, natural tan, which is at 320. If you are a brown skin, a beautiful brown skin, caramel girly, your shades will be warm sun, coconut, and golden caramel. Now, for my dark skin girlies, your shades will be coconut, mocha, and java. So make sure that you have those down. If you heard your skin tone in there and you want to try those pressed powders out, don't be afraid to try them out. So like I said, I'm going to go underneath my eye with that natural tan. And that's just going to go ahead and set my under eye. It's going to go ahead and set it so it gives me that smooth airbrushed finish before I apply the powder. Because sometimes I know some of my makeup girlies who have told me they've had this problem. When you put that translucent powder underneath your eye, it's kind of like you start kind of seeing patches. And you know, when you start to wipe off that powder underneath your eye, you see those patches as well. And that's where the issue comes in. It's because it's not giving you that, you don't have that smooth base underneath. And so for me, I use this pressed powder to kind of give myself that smooth base. Now, this natural tan is only going underneath the eye. It's not going all around the face yet because we will touch on what goes on the face next, but we haven't gotten to that part yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this underneath my eye until I feel like the ancestors have let me know it works. All right, cool. So the next thing that we're going to do, because like I said, this is a no foundation routine. So it's going to be quick, easy, and definitely something that you can remember. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with my contour powder. So if you have any contour powder that you'd like to use, go ahead and grab your contour powder. For me, the contour powder that I actually use, and one thing that I love about makeup is that you can use anything for anything. And the moment that you realize that as a makeup girly, the moment that your makeup game will change. Meaning that you can use eyeshadow for contour, you can use eyeshadow for blush, you can use blush for eyeshadow, you can use concealer for freaking lip liner. Baby, you can use any type of makeup for anything. You just have to know how to use them. So the contour shades that I'm going to be using today, I'm going to start out with this Coconut in 355 from Maybelline Fit Me. This is also a pressed powder. I use this as my bronzer, my contour. And then I'm going to go into one of Juvia's Place, which is one of my absolute favorite brands. I'm going to go in with the Warrior #2 palette. So if you've seen this palette, you can get this at Ulta for about $8. If you don't have it, you're tripping. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in with that coconut first. And that coconut is just kind of going to be a layout for where I want to put that other shade. And so I'm going to start from my cheekbone. So how you can tell where your contour is supposed to go. After we've already applied our pressed powders, maybe it's just me because I'm a makeup artist and I can tell, but I can already look at my face and look at where my face is naturally contouring, meaning that my face is kind of a little bit darker on the sides a little bit. So I can kind of actually see where my contour is placed. If you cannot see that hue or you can't see that shadow in your skin, just touch your cheekbone area. If you touch your cheekbone and you feel your cheekbone, then you know you're at the right place. And you're going to go underneath your finger, and that's where you're going to contour. And so the trick to contouring is that always make sure that you're blending upwards and not down. And when you're blending, you want to make sure that you don't go all the way down here. So remember when I told you about that cheekbone area step? This is where your cheekbone ends. So that's where your contour is going to end as well. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to go anywhere past it. You want to make sure that you're just blending up and staying on that cheekbone area. And you're going to get a nice hue. Now, when you contour, you do not have to use something super dark. you don't have to use anything super dark to contour yourself. You just want to make sure that you're using something that just warms up your skin. So you can use something about 1 to 2 shades darker than your actual skin tone. So I'm gonna go again on that side, feeling that cheekbone. Okay, cool. There's that cheekbone. This is where that cheekbone ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just doing like swirling motions up. And I'm not going down, not bringing it past anywhere further than my cheekbone. And if you have any questions or if you're confused about anything up to this point, please do not hesitate to drop your question in the chat and I will make sure that I answer it for you as we go along because I'm here for you, girl. I know exactly how hard this can be. So look, Dage is your friendly neighborhood makeup guide. All right. Okay, cool. So now I'm just gonna place that on my forehead, of course, because y'all know pretty girls always have big foreheads. Hello. All right. And I'm done with the contour at this point. So now I'm gonna go back into that Juvia's palette. Remember, I told you guys I used 2 contour shades. And from the, excuse me, because this damn palette is dirty, child. I didn't use this up. So this shade right here, which will be this brown shade in this palette, is also what I'm gonna use to contour. And then that's just gonna darken my contour up a little bit for me some more. Warm it up, bronze that. And if you see how that just bronzed that up, and I'm in love. Like I love me a really good bronze. Forehead area. Okay, cool. So usually I wait to do this step, but for class purposes, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna complete it now. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start our nose contour. So I'm just going to go ahead and just slow it down just a little bit. And we're going to touch bases over what it is that we've already done. So we've already went ahead, we've already put our 2 concealer shades underneath our eyes. We blended that out. And then once we finished with that, we went ahead and we used our pressed powder. So we didn't forget to put our primer and our moisture on to begin our routine. And so now we're just at our contouring step right now. And we've already went ahead and we contoured the perimeters of our face, which would be our forehead, our cheekbone areas. And I actually don't put any contour underneath. But if you do, please feel free to go ahead and exercise that. Okay, you guys. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to contour our nose. So there are a few ways that you can do this that'll make it easier for you because I actually had a really big problem with contouring my nose. I did not know how to do it. And so literally the trick is to just find the tools that work for you best. This is going to sound really crazy. However, hey, makeup is crazy on its own. There are 2 tools that you can use to complete this. You can use a small fluffy brush or a small flat angle brush, or you can use our Holy Grail powder puff tool. So because I feel like everybody kind of already knows how to use a brush, I'm going to be using a powder puff today to show you how you can contour your nose with a powder puff. So first things first, I'm gonna go in with that same contour shade that I use to, I'm gonna go in and use that same contour shade that I actually use to to bring warmth back to my face. So what you're gonna do is, with your powder puff, you wanna make sure that that contour is on the tippy top of your powder puff. Make sure that you blow off any excess so that it doesn't come off super harsh. And then starting from the bottom of my nose, I'm just going to go ahead and draw one line. And this is basically just shaping out the tip of my nose. And this is what it should look like. So literally, you're just doing that one kind of line that's focused on sculpting that bottom of your nose. So as you can see, babe, I already got a damn nose job already. Y'all look, y'all see it? Soon as I put that on there, the nose job was just there. All right, cool. So now we working with something. So at this point, you should still have some product on your powder puff. If not, go back in, make sure that you're blowing that excess off. And then I'm gonna go to the tippy top. So one very cute trick that I learned to do the button nose trick for some that might help is to kind of pull your nose up. If you pull your nose up, you'll see where that button is, where that button begins. So the button will literally be at the tip of your nose. So if you take that powder puff and you lightly draw that line around that top, you have your button nose look. And it literally is just that simple, really plain and simple like that. You want to make sure that your contour is dark enough that it shows, but not dark enough that it is too much or that it's like really black or really heavy. But even if it is, of course, we're going to go in and we're going to blend it out. So now that I have that button nose already formed at the top, so we formed out, we shaped out the top of our nose. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start to shape out the sides. So the closer the line is to your nose, the smaller your nose will look. So, for example, I'm going to start at my brow tip, and then and again, we're at that tip with that powder puff at that tip. I'm starting from my brow and I'm literally just going down in a straight line, bringing it closer to the inner corner of my nose because I want that snatched nose look. And then look, this is what your line should look like. So you want to make sure that your line is not too far off and that it's not too close, but it's literally right in the middle. And like I said, this is so easy to use this powder puff because it allows you to just go ahead and shape it. Usually sometimes when I'm using a brush, what I notice is that because the brush is so fluffy, the product will literally kind of like spread out a little bit and it'll make my nose look like real big. So with the powder puff, it just gives you the ease of being able to create your own shape in your own line. And so I'm doing the same thing on the other side. So we're starting from that brow, and then I'm moving in closer and just going straight line. And there you have it. So we do have our really cute button nose. And so I know that this is just a little harsh, but that's completely fine. What you're gonna do is you're gonna flip your beauty blender, excuse me, your powder puff over to the side that has no product on it. And then you're literally just gonna blend it out, buff it out. If you know what buffing is, you're just gonna buff it out. Just like if you see my movements, this is literally just me buffing out those lines. And buffing out is damn near kind of just like dusting it off, but you're gonna buff it out until those lines don't look so harsh anymore. And then here you have it. This is what it should look like, buffed out, real smooth, real sleek. And don't worry about those lines being uneven on the sides if they're uneven, because I'm going to show you how to fix that. So I know that we just used this side for our contour, but a really funny, cute trick that I just learned, which is, I don't know why I just learned it with the powder puff. What you're going to do is this tab of the powder puff, bring it to the back. So now you have a whole nother clean side. We're just going to use the other side because it's clean and unused. And so what I'm going to do is, remember when I told y'all about that pressed powder, that natural tan? I'm going to go back into that natural tan very lightly. I always want to make sure that you're dusting that off. And then you're going to tap the sides of your nose. And that's going to make those lines, those harsh lines on the sides of your nose, disappear. And honestly, you can go ahead and get straight on those lines, just making sure that you're not just getting directly in the middle, but you're literally staying on those lines on your nose that we just created. Cool. And now you should kind of have a sculpted out, really cute, not too much nose. I can definitely see the difference in my nose. I don't know if y'all can see the difference in y'all nose, but I really hope that you can. And like I said again, if you need any help or if you need any tips or any pointers, ask your girl. Okay, so now we're about to go straight to the rest of the face. So I know that we did not use I know that we didn't use any foundation. And so at this point, you're probably wondering like, okay, cool. We didn't use any foundation. I just have concealer and powder underneath my eyes. What about the rest of the face, Dage? Well, don't worry, because I'm about to tell you exactly what you're going to do. So I'm going to go in with Warm Sun. Now, again, I went over those list of powders that I recommend for each skin tone. And if you heard your skin tone, and you wrote those powders down, then you will go to that darkest shade. Or if you do have pressed powder, you will go to the darkest shade of your pressed powder, but not too dark. When I say the darkest shade that matches your skin. You want to make sure that you're not going like super dark, but just something that will give you kind of like that skin like look. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take another powder puff. You can either use a powder puff or you can use a fluffy brush. I'll use both on each side so you can see the difference. And then I'm gonna go in with that Warm Sun from Maybelline Fit Me. This is my shade, and this is the shade that's closest to my actual skin tone and closest to my undertone. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna dip that brush into that. And then all the areas where we did not put contour and where we did not put that first press powder, I'm gonna put this second press powder. So that definitely is gonna be right underneath my cheeks, right underneath where we contour. And do y'all see that? Like, bro, come on, press like if y'all ain't got on the press powders, babe, what you doing? The press powder literally just made my skin look super flawless, and it just literally blended it out like super good. So if you have not invested in the pressed powders, you need to invest in the pressed powders. And if you have not tried Maybelline's Fit Me, if you've been hearing all of the rave about Maybelline Fit Me, well then you already know what you're supposed to be doing. So then next side, we're gonna do the powder puff because I did say I was gonna show y'all each side. And I'm literally just doing those down motions, making sure everything is seamless. And so this is the side with the brush. And then this is the side with the powder puff. And I kind of like the brush better. So I'm going to go ahead and put more using the brush. And I'm literally only staying underneath my mouth and my chin, putting a little bit on my neck for this look. And I know what y'all probably thinking. You using all this damn powder. What about the pictures? Is the flashback gonna? Baby, I can tell y'all right now. I have never had an inch of flashback when I'm taking pictures, especially professionally. When I'm doing this routine, this is literally the routine I do for my photo shoots, for everything. This works for me, so I'm 100% guaranteeing that it should work for you. And so, like I said, if y'all already on it, I'm gonna give y'all some time because I do know some of my girlies, y'all just want to enjoy the makeup process, and I love that. So we are on our pressed powder look right now. I went ahead and I extended that pressed powder up to my cupid's bow area, but I'm not touching my under eye because I want to keep that bright. Okay, guys. So you have your pressed powder everywhere, and this is how we should look. Real flawless, real seamless. And again, I don't have a lick of foundation on. Like, I love this routine. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is blush. So I'm going to take a quick 4-minute break just to grab some paper towels. When I come back, you guys make sure that you have your blush. We're doing blush, and then right after blush, we're jumping into translucent powder. So go ahead and grab those things. Grab yourself some wine, some water, whatever it is you need. All right, girls. We got 3 minutes left on our break. Thank you so much for booking this class. Thank you so much for tuning into this class. You guys literally make doing this just so fun. And also, I do have a very, 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 very cute and very, very special giveaway. Because we're on break, I feel like I should go ahead and tell y'all about that now. So give me 2 seconds, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into that. right, girlies, I am back. So let's go ahead and start to gather our things so that we can go ahead and jump straight back in to our lesson. Give me 2 seconds as I'm just going to hold this up. Okay, so before we jump back into our lesson for today, I definitely want to make sure that I am giving you guys the tea on the giveaway. So if you didn't know, now you know. And I'm gonna tell you guys in like literally 2 seconds. Like literally just give me 2 seconds. Cool. Want to make sure that the music and everything is right before we start again. All right, you guys. So if you are here, and we do have a few of us that are here, I am so excited to tell you about the giveaway that I am doing. So I am having a special giveaway. It doesn't matter where you are. If you purchase this class, if you booked an appointment with me, you are eligible for this giveaway. Everyone has already been entered into the drawing, and it is going to be super cute. So we are doing a giveaway for a iPad mini and a care kit. So you will receive an iPad mini with a stylus, a pom-pom pen. It will also have an iPad case and a couple of other goodies for you as well that will come with this giveaway. So literally you don't need to do anything. Your name's already been entered into the draw if you bought this or if you booked an appointment with me, and I'm so excited to announce the winners when it's time. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump straight back into our routine. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is my favorite part of the routine, and that's applying blush. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to apply our favorite blush. It does not matter what blush you use. For me, I am using the NYX Buttermelt blush in my favorite shade of but my butter half. And this is going to go on your temples. So you're going to go ahead and place that blush right on your cheekbone. So on your cheekbone, and you want to make sure that you're blending it up to your temple. And if you've seen the heavy blush looks where it's kind of looking like the blush is kind of halfway underneath the eye, but then at the same time, it's on the cheekbone. This is literally all you have to do. You're just going to go ahead and you're going to pat that blush underneath your eye, not all the way, but you're going to pat it towards the outer corner of your eye and then up towards your temple. And so it should look something like that. And this is what I call a Barbie doll blush place. That's a tongue twister. Barbie doll blush placement. And then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start on our cheekbone area. And we're literally just like, I'm tapping. I'm not even swiping. I'm tapping, going from my under corner, the inner corner of my eye, and on my cheekbone up to my temple. And it should look something similar to this. And I'm so excited because we are literally almost done. We're almost done. And it's so crazy how this routine is super cute and it's super, super effective, but it's also super, super easy, literally. So the next step that we're going to do, and right before I left, I did tell you guys our next step was going to be our translucent powder. But one step that I like to do right before I'm finished with my makeup is just go ahead and line our lips. So we're going to go ahead and just line our lips at this stage so we can kind of get that look of how our makeup is going to look once we're all the way done. So go ahead and grab your favorite lip liner and go ahead and start to line your lips. And I will show you how to do that if you don't know how to do that. You're gonna go ahead and line your lips. My shades that I use are Cola in the Juvia's Place, and I use Cola. And then I actually use Rich Ebony and Elf Concealer as my base. So I'm starting off with that concealer, and this is like a really dark brown concealer. Starting off with that dark brown concealer, I'm just going to line my lips as so, starting from the outer line. Starting from the outer line of the lip, I'm going all around. And I do kind of like overline my lips just a little bit, but not too much. You're gonna go around. And then same thing with the bottom. Hey, all right. And it should look something like this. Sorry. And it should look something like this. I'm gonna go ahead and mush in, cool. Then I'm gonna go on top of that with the liner. So if you're ever wondering how to make your lips last all night, start off with the concealer, then line it again with a pen with the lip liner pencil. And then this is literally how she looked. Now, mind y'all, I literally mushed in too much, so like half of my side is kind of like brown, but that's fine. I really don't care. I'm gonna put some lip gloss on it afterwards, after we're done, to show y'all the lip combo. Because the lips are literally, the lips and the blush are my favorite part. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump into our translucent powder. So like I said, the second thing that you should have had after this was the blush. And then after the blush, we are going to be using our translucent powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my favorite translucent powder. And this is actually one of my favorite ones. I got this at Marshall, so it's actually it's no name on it. It's by Filter. Yeah, it's the by Filter by Beauty Creations translucent powder. It actually doesn't even have a name on it. So it's literally just like a regular one, but this one gives such a brightening effect. So you're gonna take your translucent powder, your beauty blend, your powder puff. I don't know why I want to call it a beauty blender. Your powder puff, tap it in your translucent powder. Make sure that you're blowing off any excess. And then you're gonna go ahead and go underneath your eye and place this underneath your eye, making sure that you're hitting that blush because it's gonna give the blush that really pretty highlighted effect. You don't need that much on your powder puff because translucent powder and powder itself is you can build it up just like you can do concealers. In order to build it up, you always want to make sure that you blow it off, and then you kind of like rub it in your skin. You rub it on your skin so that you really don't have that much extra on there, and it doesn't like look crazy, and you don't have flashback. Placing this on the sides of my nose as well, just like we did that pressed powder. And I'm gonna place some underneath where my Cupid's bow is. I'm going to dust off, place some on my chin. Basically, we're placing all the areas that are highlighted or that, keeps our face highlighted. Going ahead and putting just a little bit of that on my forehead. And then when I'm not even going back into the powder, I'm just going to place whatever is left on my beauty blender underneath my contour. Underneath my contour. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what I did. And this should be your finished look. And so usually I like to go back and I like to replenish. So if you want to go back in with your pressed powder after that, because sometimes translucent powder just takes away the color from the face, but it just helps it set more. You can still go back on top of that, but I mean, I don't really feel like I need it, honestly. And neither do you. So at this point, this is exactly what your makeup should look like. And we're actually halfway done. The next steps after this part will literally just be to do our eyebrows. The next step after this part is literally to do our eyebrows, finish up our lips, and then our under eye, and we are complete with our routine, babe. So the next thing that we're gonna jump into is probably the hardest part of the routine for some people, and that's the eyebrows. So a couple of tools that you can use to complete your eyebrows are an eyebrow pencil. You can use an eyebrow pomade with an eyeliner brush, or you can use powder. Now, for my clients specifically, I use powder. Powder is my holy grail. I love it because it helps me to shape out and sculpt my clients' eyebrows flawlessly at that. But it's just easier to work with. And for me, I like to use an eyebrow pencil. I like to use an eyebrow pencil for me because my brows are semi full. And so if your brows are semi full, I honestly feel like a pencil will help you fill in those areas of your brow that are scarce without making your brows look blocky. For me, I don't use brow pencils because I feel like it makes the brows look way too harsh. And I honestly do not like a harsh brow. I like more of a natural looking brow. So we're gonna start off any, regardless of any tool that you use, you always want to make sure that you're starting off with the spoolie so that you can brush your eyebrow hairs up. This trick is just so that you can see the shape of your eyebrows before you start them, so you kind of already have a layout and a mapping. So if you're using a pencil like me, what you're going to do is you're going to start off, make it a little closer for this. You are going to start off from the tail end of your brow. So when I say you're going to start off from the tail end of your brow, you are going to go ahead and start to make a very thin line connecting your tail. And so right now we're just starting off with that one line. And we can honestly just walk out with that one line if we wanted to, but we not. So now that we've done that one line, and you can honestly, you can't even kind of tell that this is the line. You would think that that's my brow. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go on top, midway top, and we're going to connect our tail end, our top tail to our bottom tail. So again, if you did not see that motion, after we went ahead and we did our bottom, we went on to the top and we created a line at the top and then arched down and connected our top tail with our bottom tail. And it should look just like this. And so for now, hold on guys. Okay. So for now, for class purposes, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to fill in the top. So again, starting off from the bottom, creating that small thin line, and then dragging it down to make a thinner line. Should look something like that line. And then we're gonna go on the top, not all the way, but like middle towards the tail. And we're gonna start to pull that down, arch it. And when you arch it, the key to arching your brow is just to kind of make a little hump and then go straight down from that hump. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna make a little hump. And then we're literally going straight down from the hump and connecting our top tail with our bottom tail. And you should have something like that on both sides. Connected our top tail to our bottom tail, cleaning up that line. Make sure that you're taking your spoolie and you're going through your brow to kind of brush it out so that it stays natural looking. And this is what you're gonna come up with. And so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start to fill in the top of our brow. So we're gonna fill in the top by also doing a line. However, when you're getting to the top of your brow, make sure that you have a very light hand so that the top of your brow isn't coming off looking like really blocky. So I'm using the dead weight in my hand. If you know what dead weight is in your hand, I'm using the dead weight in my hand to create those very hard, those very clean, shallow lines at the top, and it should look something like this. Afterwards, I'm gonna do the same thing to this next side. And I'm going to make fake brow hairs. If you use light strokes at the top, light upward strokes, it'll give you that really clean, really cute, shadowy kind of gradient eye. And then you're gonna go ahead and you're going to fill in the bottom of your brow. So I'm just literally just filling that brow in. And if you guys have any questions up until this point, please do not hesitate to unmute and ask, or to drop the comment below and ask. And of course, I will help you. And so this is what you should have at this point. Now, for this specific routine, I am only going to be using one shade of eyeshadow. So my favorite part about this routine is not only the eyeshadow looks I can create doing this, but it's also the under eye look. If you like that very dark under eye where we fill in our under eye liner, I'm going to show you how to do it. But first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on the shadow. So in order to create a gradient looking shadow effect, you always want to start off with a transition shade. So your transition shade will basically be the shade that you start off with once you start your eyeshadow look. And this should be something that's brown, something that's light brown, something that's light, that it'll make it very seamless and smooth when you want to blend in your darker shade. Second, I'm just going through here. Brush. Okay, cool. And so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to take that last shade that we used, which would have been this brown shade in the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. I'm using that as my transition shade. Using that as my transition shade, blowing off any extra excess. And then literally all you're going to do is right below your brow, you're just going to do a tapping and a swiping motion, making it circular. So if you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm going back and forth, kind of like a washing machine. And I know these lashes is big, so just bear with me if you can't see it. I'm going back and forth using a swiping motion. And like I said, I am using that brown shade as my transition shade from what I use to contour. And I'm going to go on and do the exact same thing to the other side. I'm not bringing it down. I'm not bringing it like all over the lid. I'm literally just making that circular back and forth motion so that I can still have some room on my center lid. Cool. So now that we started off with something that's really cute, really subtle, I'm actually going to go in with something a little bit darker. So I'm using the Ruby Kisses Glow in Bronze, and I'm going to use the darkest shade in that to give me that ombre smoky eye look. Very quick and very easy. Very quick and very easy eyeshadow routine. Something that's quick for you to just walk out the door and still look glammed. And I don't want to put too much. You want to make sure that you're literally just putting enough on your lid, and don't go all over your lid with this. You're only going to stay in your inner corner, only going to stay in your inner on the inner lid because we put that transition shade all over our lid. Okay, good. And your eyeshadow should literally look something like this or better, similar, however. But like I said, we started off with our transition shade and then we went on with that darker shade to give us that what how do you say ombre effect. And your girl's gonna taking off my lace band because we're getting to that point where we're almost done. And so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna get underneath our eyes to make our eyes darker. Now, this is probably one of my favorite steps, and I know make honestly the whole process is my favorite step, but this is honestly probably one of my favorite steps. Before I actually go ahead and get underneath my eye, though, we have used a lot of powder on our face. And usually, right before I'm finished, right before I'm finished, right after I've already done all the powder and everything, I like to spray my face with my setting spray a few times before I finish off. So you're gonna spray your setting spray right after you've done so much powder, and then you're gonna spray it at the end once you finish your makeup again. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face with that setting spray. And this is the Fix It by MAC. I just got all in my mouth when I did that. Letting that dry down. For some reason, I thought I had a fan. Maybe not. Just go ahead and let that dry down. And if you do have your beauty blender, you can go ahead and just tap your beauty blender all around your face to make sure those products are just melted in your skin. This is like one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite steps because it allows for your makeup for you to know that your makeup is melted, your makeup is just ready to go. And I'm going in and I'm just adding just a few more touches of the things that I like. So if you wanted to add more blush at this stage, once your makeup was finished, you are more than welcome to add more blush. If you are wanting to add more contour at this stage, you are more than welcome to add more contour. It's completely up to you, but I only added a little bit, so I think I'm good. Now, the next steps, which is probably all of our favorite parts, because for me, I do have what I feel like are big eyes. And so I use the black eyeliner underneath my eyes. Now, granted, you guys, if you're using white eyeliner underneath your eye, I want you to understand that white makes your eyes look big and black makes your eyes look small. So if you feel like even if you feel like you have, small eyes, the black still looks good. However, it's completely up to you. For this routine, I'm using black. And so what you're going to do is you are going to pull your eye down like so. You're going to pull your eye down, and where you see your lash line, this is your lash line under where your eye is. That's your lash line. And so that's where you're going to put that black. So you can either use black powder, you can use or you can use a black gel pencil. And for me, I'm using a black eyeliner gel pencil. This is the NYX Vivid Rich in Always Onyx. And you're just going to place that directly on your waterline. If you have a problem with teary eyes, a very cool makeup artist trick would be for you to go ahead and hold your breath while you do it. Now, me, I don't really need to, but if you feel like your eyes get watery when you do this, hold your breath while you do it, and your eyes are guaranteed to act right. I'm going underneath there, starting from the middle. Make sure y'all can see that. Starting from the middle. And then taking it to the back. Bringing it to the front, but not extending it all the way. And then this is what your under eye should look like. Very cute and sweet. And so Now that we are almost finished, we are coming up to the end of our routine. So at this point, you should already have your concealer placed. You should, or your foundation, if you did decide to use it for this routine. You should already have your foundation, your primer placed, your foundation, if that's what you wanted. You should already have your two shades of concealer underneath your eyes blended out. Your contour should be there, your pressed powder, so should your translucent powder, and you should have already sprayed at this point. So the next thing for me to end off this routine is going to be my lip. Ah, this is my favorite part of the routine. I actually absolutely love doing lip combos. Like they're my absolute favorite. I'm just gonna go ahead and add some more lip liner back to my lip because after using all of that powder, it might wash out your lip liner. So just go ahead and reapply your lip liner. So after reapplying my lip liner, I am going to go in with a few shades. So if you would like this exact lip combo, just follow along with me. So the shade that I'm going to be using today as my base shade is going to be the Sephora cream lip stain in 32. And this is like a nude, a really cute nude, pink peachy kind of look, like a really cute nude. Like that is so cute. And I'm applying this all over my lip. I actually have a lip gloss applicator to make it easier for me to blend it out, but you can use a concealer brush to blend this out. And at this point, your lip should be popping, baby. Your lip should be popping. And then I'm going to go on top with a cute lip gloss in the color Wink. This is the color Wink in the LA Colors High Shine. And this is probably like my holy grail lip gloss. I actually really, really love this color and it looks so beautiful on every skin tone, literally. I use this like for all my clients to the point where I had to go buy myself one. Okay. You want to make sure you tap your lips together. And then now that I've applied this, I love that liner look. So I'm going to go back in with my liner. Going back in with my liner to just define that line around my lip. Tap. And this is what you should look like. Okay, ladies. So coming up to our last thing for this routine. And at this point, this is what you should have. You should have something similar looking to this face. If not, if you feel like you had a hard time, if you feel like you're still confused, you already know what to do. Ask me questions. That's what I am here for. So we got about 15, I think that's like 15, 10, 15 minutes left in our class, which is fine. I want you guys to take your time and we will discuss. Next thing, last but not least, you already know, grab your highlight. I love me a good highlight. And my holy grail highlight shade right now is the Revlon Skin Lights and Prismatic Highlighter. This is literally my holy grail highlight right now. It looks so bomb on every skin tone. When I say every skin tone, I mean every skin tone, y'all. I literally use this on all of my clients. I'm going back in with my blush brush. Y'all know I'm a blush girly, so y'all know I'm gonna add me some more. I'm adding me a little bit more blush now. Now, don't judge me. Don't judge me now. Don't judge. Y'all know I'm a blush girly. I love me a good blush. But after applying that blush, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go in with this Revlon Light. Choose your favorite highlighter. And in order to see where the light hits your skin, you're gonna smile. And you can kind of see where the light is hitting your skin, and it's hitting mine on my cheekbone. And you're gonna apply it right to where you kind of see that pop of light. So that way, that means when you smile at a rich nigga when you go out tonight, your face should be popping like the first thing he gonna see is them cheekbones, okay? Okay, all right. And we gonna put some on the other side. Of course, we're gonna put some on our chin. Put a little bit on our forehead to give a glow, because y'all know I love to be glowy. And then I'm actually gonna put some on my Cupid's bow, on my nose. But remember when we did our contour, remember when we contoured our nose and we made our indentation up here for our button? I'm gonna put that highlight directly on the top of that indentation. And that is going to complete the button nose look. And it's gonna give you that really high pointed nose look. Like it's gonna give you that, ooh, girl. Well, you got one, girl, you got one of them Kardashian noses. Go ahead, girl. It's gonna give you one of them. Blend it in. Make sure it ain't too high. You can blend it in by just tapping. Tap, tap, tap. And baby, you are done, girl. Look at you. All right, I'm just playing. No, you're not. You ain't done yet because we got one more thing. All right. Y'all know Dave loves to play with y'all. Okay, so we actually are done. However, y'all know I love to come with the tips and the tricks. So because we did not highlight, so you guys, one of the things that I love to do is highlight my brow. And excuse me, y'all, 2 seconds. So one of the things that I love to do with my makeup is to actually highlight my brow bone area. And because we actually didn't use any concealer to, I guess, highlight our eyebrows, I actually like to go in with some pressed powder. And this is a beautiful trick that I learned from one of my favorite makeup artists. And we're going to go in with a light shade of pressed powder underneath the brow to give it that highlighted look, so that you don't have all of that concealer underneath your eye, and you don't have all of that concealer underneath your eyebrow. It's not going to give cakey. It's literally just going to give highlighted. Same thing with this side. I am taking an applicator brush for this. And see, like, do you like this? This is the shade 130 and Maybelline Fit Me. And if you can kind of just see how flawless that powder looks underneath that eye, like it literally looks like we used concealer and we didn't. So that's why I said, y'all just gotta learn how to use the makeup that you have. It's not that you don't know how to do makeup, you just don't know how to use the makeup that you have. And so this is our finished look. Woo! We are done, you guys. Like, we are done. You should have this quick and easy routine. And even though it did take us a little minute, we started about 5:30, we got done at 6:50. It only took us a little minute just because of the routine. However, when you're doing this yourself, you literally should not take less than 35 to 45 minutes. The last thing that you're gonna have to do is just go ahead and spray your face. Go ahead and spray your face and let that dry. And so now we are all done. So you are done. You should be ready for tonight. You're done. You should be ready for tonight. You should be ready for your any festivities that you have. Of course, if you have any questions, I am here to help you. Because our class ends at 7 o'clock, we're going to use these last couple of minutes in our class to just answer any questions that anyone may have. If you guys have any questions, we're also live on YouTube. So I do see a couple of comments I do see a couple of comments asking a couple of questions. So we're just going to take that time to use, to just answer questions. I want to start with my students that are actually on our Zoom. So if any of my students on Zoom have any questions that they would like to ask me, they would like for me to answer any products and anything, like literally anything that you would like to ask me, this is your time to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask me your question. If not, then that's totally fine. If you felt like you got it, if you felt like, okay, cool, like I learned, I don't need I don't need no help, then okay. But what I want you guys to do is follow me on all platforms. My makeup page is MUADEJJJ. That's MUADEJJJ. And my personal page is D.EJJJ. You can also find me on TikTok and YouTube at both of those names, D.EJJJ. Follow me on my platforms, especially my makeup page. Also follow the Glam Academy Beauty, which is my mini makeup school where I do teach these classes. We have online classes, we have Zoom classes, we have in-person classes up to a month. So if you're interested in all things makeup, come find me. And of course, if you have any questions, if you have any problems, if you even just want to practice your face and you want me to see it, give you feedback, or give you a little bit of tips. When I mean to tell y'all, I am here for you. I am here for you. I am your personal mentor for makeup. Do not hesitate to hit me up for any problems that you have. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to answer some of these questions. We're going to go ahead and we're going to answer some of these questions that we have on our live. So, this one is a good one. So, one question that we have is how do I stop? One question that we have is how do I stop my makeup from creasing? So, you honestly cannot stop your makeup from creasing because makeup is makeup. Your eyes are always going to crease regardless. However, it is always good for you to keep a translucent powder with some pressed powder, excuse me, a powder puff. I'm tongue tied today, y'all. A powder puff with some pressed powder on it for you to touch up throughout the night, for you to touch up throughout the day, because honestly, that's what helps my clients just complete their makeup routine smoothly and allows them to keep it on a lot longer just because of that. The second question is, what are some pressed powders that you recommend? What are some pressed powders that you recommend for brown skin girls again? So, if you are a brown skin girly and you're looking for a really good pressed powder for yourself, you want to start off with Maybelline Fit Me in Coconut, Warm Sun, and Golden Caramel. Those are the ones that I use for all of my brown skin girlies. We only have two more questions, so here's the first one of the last two. What do I'm sorry, y'all. Look something. Okay. The question is, what setting spray do you recommend for my makeup to last all night? So the setting sprays that I definitely recommend are that Fix It by MAC. This is a 16-hour hold. 16-hour hold, as well as the Urban Decay and the Morphe setting spray, the Morphe Continuous Mist. All of those are about 16 to 12 hours and will have your makeup lasting very, very long. And then last but not least, what is your favorite setting powder that I recommend? So my favorite setting powder that I recommend is one, well, I have a couple, so I'm just going to tell you guys all of them. Of course, we have our one size translucent powder. We also have our Laura Mercier translucent. We have our Laura Mercier translucent honey and our Laura Mercier translucent deep, as well as our Huda Beauty. We have banana cake and pound cake that I use, and Anastasia Beverly Hills in deep peach for the brown skin girlies. And that completes our questions and will also complete our class for the night. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to go ahead and shoot me a text message or to just shoot me a message on Instagram. Again, that Instagram at is MUADEJJJ. And if you are already on the class, if you are a student, please be looking out for that product list as well as that giveaway that I mentioned. And also, I will send you a coupon for a free class so that we can do this again and you can come back and see your girl free of charge. Thank you so much for tuning in with me tonight, and I do hope you have a fun and safe night. Okay? Bye, girls.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.